Hey there guys, my name is Metro, and today we're going to be showing you guys how to edit your save, and especially the Pokemon within that save with RPGMaker, okay? This is especially for Pokemon Reborn and Rejuvenation, but it should technically be reliably like you should be able to use this on any other game, but there's one big caveat we'll talk about in a bit. Now, I try to make this tutorial as concise as possible, but if I've missed anything, just ask, all right? I will reply to you, I promise. Anyway, so the step one, all right? Step one, RPGMaker, okay? Here we go. So you need this program, all right? So let's talk a little bit about the program itself. Here's the website, which will be in the description, okay? RPGMaker XP, all right? RMXP is what most people call it. The game is basically like a standalone game creation engine. There's multiple versions of it, but a lot of people consider one better than the other, etc. Like, the new versions don't actually improve on the last version a lot of the times. They kind of just change things. So, anyway, now that you're here, you could either download the trial or buy it for $25. Now, we'll talk about the trial real quick. The trial is, I think, active for 20 or perhaps even 30 days. So if you're only planning on doing this, once or maybe a bunch in a really small period of time, then just do that. Otherwise, a $25 donation for the program is definitely pretty fair. Or you could look at other options. But we're not going to discuss that in the video, all right? So now once you have that, get it all set up. Just like, installing any program. There's nothing tricky there. It's a very lightweight program. This is what it looks like when it launches. And, all this stuff here. This isn't a tutorial on that, though. Alright, so next up you need this Pokemon Essentials, alright? Once again, in the description, alright, here is the, what the page would look like. And on the top right here, you'll see this Downloads tab, okay? So you'll download it there. Right here is on the right, you'll click that download, alright? So now we'll talk about how all the programs intermingle and start talking about the actual editing. Alright, so once you have the RPGMaker files and the Pokemon Essentials files ready to go, this is what you need to do, okay? So in your RMXP folder, or just somewhere that you are comfortable, that you're going to remember this. Alright, I would definitely recommend making a master copy first of all, because you're going to need multiple copies, one especially for every game that you want to edit. Alright, as you see, Reborn and Rejuvenation there, okay? So anyway, we'll just work with the base files for now. So here's the master copy, alright? Now, these four things up here that I just highlighted are the bread and butter of this, alright? But if you want to actually check it out in the game, like in RPGMaker itself, you come down here to this game here. See, it says RPGXP project, alright? This is what's going to launch the game in RPGMaker, okay? So as you see, the tile set are basically just fire red. It's just fire red as a base, okay? So you could kind of mess with this from here if you want to look at it. But anyway, just to prove that this is working, that's basically like step 1.5, all right? Now, like I said, I would definitely, unless you only plan on ever editing one game or downloading this multiple times. Either way, get yourself set up, all right? So let's talk about where we go with these files, right? As you notice, audio, data, fonts, and graphics folders, okay, in the Pokemon Essentials. So like I showed you guys, all the stuff that's being drawn from is just from Fire Red, essentially, okay? So we need to change that, all right? We need to change the audio, data, fonts, and graphics from Fire Red to whatever game you want to edit, all right? That's step 2, all right? Here's step 2. So now open up, for example, Pokemon Reborn, okay? And you'll see in the Pokemon Reborn folder is the exact same 4 things, okay? So you would just copy, drag them across, all right? I'm not going to do that on screen because I've already done it. But anyway, that's it. You just copy, drag them across. It's going to be like, are you sure you want to, you sure you want to put all these folders in this folder kind of thing? And you put yes, all right? Replace everything that's in there. If you don't replace it, if for some reason you keep both, then you're done. Like, it's over. It's just going to crash, all right? So you need to make sure that all the art assets, all the fonts, everything specific to Reborn is in those folders, okay? Now, from there, step 3, okay, is this 5th folder. Now, this one is something I can't really help you guys with. All right, I'll show you guys how to use it once you have it. But without this, basically all you have is all like the art and data and audio files of Reborn, but with all like the Pokemon and events from Fire Red. All right, so if you only use the first 4 in step 2, okay, it's not gonna work. All right. You need the PBS folder, which is basically all the information for the game itself. All right. Now, as you notice in here, there is no PBS folder in the Pokemon Reborn download. Okay. So what you need to do is you need to find it yourself. Now, this is not mine to give out, so I will not be providing you with this. But luckily, Amethyst, the game creator, is happy to give it away. And the reason we're talking about Rejuve here as well is because they're actually the exact same game. The same base game, all right? Just everything from Reborn is pretty much deleted and made with stuff that Jan wanted that to have happen, okay? So you can download the PBS for Reborn, and it will work for Rejuve, all right? There might be some differences, but the basics, what we're doing here is, it'll be fine, all right? So anyway, yeah, you see the PBS there. I downloaded it. Like I said, just Google it and unpack it, and it'll be a folder, right? Then once you have that folder, once again, step 3, drag that folder into the PBS file for your Pokemon Essentials. Before we move on from that topic, though, you do need to understand that these people have intellectual property here. You know what I mean? You're editing their intellectual property, which is completely fine if they've given you permission. But the reason I said what I said earlier about any game being editable like this is because they need to have given you the PBS. Now, there's some, under the table ways to obtain them, but we're not going to be discussing that today, all right? This is not for that. But either way, just understand that you are editing someone else's intellectual property. So if they haven't given you permission to do so, then I would say it's borderline unlawful. Probably nothing ever going to happen about it, but it's definitely immoral. So if you're cool with that, then fine. Anyway, let's continue, okay? So now that we have all the main files integrated, and we have a separate, folder made for Rejuvenation and Reborn, etc., we'll go down here once again. All right, so this is the game icon, and it's going to launch RPGMaker, launching Rejuve, everything about Rejuve. So as you see here, version 6 in Rejuve, I'm pretty sure it's updated. Either way, whatever your version is. Yeah, and so you can do this with like previous versions as well, if for some reason you need to, but I can't see why you would. So anyway, yeah, you'll see all this stuff here. It's not really relevant. What we do want to go to, though, here is, as you see up the top here, game change title, okay? You need to change this to something that is not the name of a Pokemon game. So, for example, when you download Pokemon Rejuvenation, the file is called Pokemon Rejuvenation version 5 or something like that. And if it makes a save, it's going to make a save with that title. All right, so you need to name your copy of this something different. If you don't, they're going to save over each other. And yeah, that's it. You're fucked then, obviously. So name it something recognizable and that's unique, all right? Now, you could also do the playtest here, all right? I'll show you what happens when you click that. It basically loads every map, all the info, it loads it up, all right? But as you see here, this is actually a Pokemon Reborn save file, which is, proof of before what I was talking about, that they're actually the same game. So I could actually play this. Let's just see what happens. Yeah, as you see, like, I could actually play a Pokemon Reborn save file in Pokemon Rejuvenation. It's not going to work because all the maps are not there and different, but they're still the reference point, so you'll be somewhere. Anyway, now let's talk a little bit about, the save paths, all right? So if you've never done this before, if you've never actually moved your saves or edited them, what you're going to do is you're going to search for the saved game files, all right? So if you have Windows 7 or whatever, just type in saved and you'll see this folder here. All right, so this is in the users saved games. Hopefully everybody knows how to get here by now. But here's every game that I've played on this PC that has a save in it, all right? And as you notice at the top, every other one's called Pokemon. This one's called Nubist, all right? That's the name of the title of the working project I'm on here, okay? Now, what you need to do from here, okay? Step 5, all right? That was step 4, getting everything rode. Now, next step up is actually transferring the save and editing it. So, once again, we're going to do this with Reborn, all right? So, we'll close everything up. Reborn is next, all right? So, you're going to go to your main save, all right? Don't forget, Reborn has all these saves, and, I have all these other ones, etc., for different playthroughs and stuff. But you need it to be game. And now, oh yeah, once you have RPGMaker, this is what the file is going to look like. It's going to actually look like an RPGMaker file. But anyway, so you just copy or even drag, and you want to go from the Pokemon Reborn one to the name of the project that you're working with, all right? And you would just copy and paste that in. Now, once it's here, all right, it's going to load that. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, I closed too many there. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So back to the Reborn version, open it up, okay? And now you'll see that when I play test this, it will open the save that I have loaded in, all right? So whatever save you want to edit is the one that you load into this situation, all right? There you go. So now I've basically made a save here at the beginning of the game, and I could edit things from here. Okay, the next step is actually editing the game, obviously, but just recognize that wherever you save, it needs to be somewhere secure. So I would definitely recommend saving in a Pokemon Center in both games. They almost never change, and if there's an issue with like the files not crossing over properly, then the save might get corrupted. I mean, which is fine because you obviously have backups, but just to play safe, pick somewhere that is a stable area. So we picked the Pokemon Center in the beginning of the game. You also need to have your first Pokemon and Pokedex for this to work, really. I mean, I guess you could not, but in Reborn it actually causes some issues. The player character gets, the events just don't transpire properly. And I think it probably would happen in Rejuve as well. So make sure you at least have your starter before you do this. But anyway, now you see the bottom menu there, Debug, all right? This is from the playtest, all right, once again. So you need to open it this way. And then you would just scroll down, all right? You can't, you need to use the keyboard for this, the basic controls. And yeah, you would enter in. And here is everything that you can edit from this folder, from this file, okay? As you see, you could pretty much do anything. You could add items. You could, you literally could fill your bag, one of every single item in the game. You could change the player character, which is what I did in Rejuve. You could rename yourself. You could randomize your player ID for some reason. Get mad guap, money. You could even set yourself to have 8 badges, so there's no level cap, stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, here's some other stuff. Mega rings, so all kinds of stuff. You can pretty much do it all. But the focus of today is going to be adding Pokemon, all right? So here you go. Add Pokemon. Now, once you press enter on that, you're going to see a list of every single Pokemon in the game. It's important to understand that this list, it comes from a unified database. But some of the Pokemon may not be fully sprited and outfitted properly with their, their moves and everything. So I would definitely recommend only using Pokemon that appear in the game somewhere. You could chance it, just make backups, because, for example, when I try to add, I can't remember, that Dark Dragon. When I try to add that, when I try to add that Dark Dragon in Pokemon Rejuve, Yan didn't have sprites for it, right? So he added it, like when I added it, it just crashed the game because it tried to load animations and sprites for Pokemon that they weren't actually there. He's not made them yet. Okay, so you need to keep that in mind. But anyway, that's that. So we're gonna add Pikachu, one of the best Pokemon in the universe. Obviously, Arno would agree. We would just add him, and you could immediately set your levels. Okay, so we're just picking level 10, and as you see, I obtained a Pikachu. You can give it a name, and Arno once again, because he's just a huge fan. But there you go. So now if you didn't, it's going to be treated just like you caught it. It's going to go to box 1, so you might as well sit by the box anyway. But let's take a look at that Pikachu. So there's that Pikachu, all right? Good buddy Arno lends his name. Now, if we were to have it in our party, all right? So for just for all intents purposes, we're going to go back to our actual party, all right? Now this is a save file I made, basically all fighting types, all right? But anyway, we have our first Pokemon here, okay? Now what you can do from here is there's a separate debug menu when you're looking at the Pokemon, okay? So you go ahead and hit that. Then you see every single thing you would need to know about the Pokemon. You can change its current HP and status. You can make it poisoned. You could change its level, all right? Obviously, that's exactly as it sounds. Just level it to 99 or something like that. Change its species. I don't really I don't know what that does or why that would do anything, but you could change its moves, all right? Teach move, once again, every single move in the game, but if it doesn't have an animation, but I think they're all off by default in most games, in most situations, so this shouldn't really come as an issue. But actually, there may actually be some non-Pokemon moves in here. I'm not really sure. There's some that don't really look familiar to me. But anyway, you could teach anything to anything. And you could even reset the move list or just give them their initial move list. Like, so like when you breed them, they have all their initial moves. Change their gender. Change their ability. Change their nature. You can make them shiny. This is my favorite part, honestly. You can change their form. So something people said that, if you have all the situations set up to make them mega, this is how you would do it, all right? But that's not something I would recommend because, once again, there's not mega evolutions in either game yet. So doing that would really not only make the game too easy, but it might actually cause some conflicts. I'm not really sure. I haven't tried it. But yeah, obviously Eevee, Ivy, etc. And that's it. So you guys got free reign. You could add whatever Pokemon you want, and you could change them. You change their level, change their stats. You could do like a run where you only use one Pokemon that's got max stats, and you see if you could beat the game, stuff like that. Basically, do anything you want. But what I would recommend for this is to have some fun with it. Like I said, I'm doing what I'm calling New Game Plus, like gym leader runs. I'm kind of like role-playing that I'm a fighting gym leader from another region, and I've come to challenge the Reborn League. I set myself with these 6 Pokemon. That's all I can use for the run, and I play through it. I've been live streaming stuff like that, so it's pretty fun, actually. And it's really, it's still difficult. Like, I've actually struggled to do this still, even with these, overpowered Pokemon. But yeah, that's what you should do. I wouldn't use this to just cheat and break the game. But it's up to you. You guys can do whatever you want. So if you have any questions, let me know. But at that point, that's everything. You would just save, right? So you need to obviously save the game, press it, save it, and then go back to, oh god, all these folders. Go back to here. Now after you've saved the game, this file has updated, right? So you would just copy and paste that across again. Go back to Reborn. Okay, and then you would open it in Reborn, and then you would open the Reborn folder, launch the game. All right, see that in action, and your save will be in here with all your new Pokemon. Okay, as you see indeed it is the case. But that's that. So if you guys have any questions, once again, let me know. I will happily answer them to my best of knowledge. But it's not that complicated, really. You just need a bunch of things. And yeah, it's whether or not you could obtain them easily. Then that means you could pretty much edit any game. And I did manage to find a way to do it with Insurgents. But yeah, it should work with any game, especially ones that like don't use a full dex of fake Pokemon. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's that. Hope you guys learned a thing or two. And if you still have questions, feel free to ask.